Take you around Dog Nation in 90 seconds. This is DN90. Hey everybody, it's Brandon Adams. I'm going to try to squeeze this one into 90 seconds if possible, at least make it close. The NFL draft is without a doubt my least favorite event in sports and inferior to the way that college football teams select their talent in every way imaginable. But it is the process by which you get on an NFL roster. And when Georgia held its pro day a few weeks ago, Georgia cornerback Deandre Baker, who could be in the first round of this week's NFL draft, talked about what it's like to go through all of this process. Here's what Baker had to say then.
I'm relieved that I got everything, all the testing done and things like that. Now I can just work on football drills and things like that. But, it's kind of exciting because the draft coming up April 25th, so that's the biggest day of my life, what I've been waiting on. So I'm looking forward to that. I just want to see your raw speed, the raw vert, other than in the game. So it's just another way to test. But, you all got to put it together on film like I do all the time. So I don't really pay no attention, really.
Do you hear get feedback from NFL executives and stuff that, we saw what
oh, yeah, definitely.
We see your tape.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You can't, my film is undeniable. You can't overlook that, what I do.
So he says, Baker does, that my film speaks for itself. You can't deny what I'm able to do. But Baker is now caught up in something that seems to happen around the NFL draft this time every year. And if this were to happen in any other walk of life, would simply be called slander. But for somehow the NFL draft, all of this is just well within bounds and very much accepted. An example of this comes from a Georgia reporter, Mark Weiser, on Twitter, who caught up with an ESPN NFL draft analyst, Todd McShay. The subject of Deandre Baker came up. And according to McShay, there's some frustration from the Georgia coaching staff about Baker that's causing him to drop on draft boards about not playing the bowl game. But here's the interesting quote, but being around and not being the best influence on the team. Now, obviously, none of us know if that really happened or not, but an NFL draft executive clearly told Todd McShay about that. This is not the first time this kind of thing has happened, though. There's a lot of seeming bad talk about these kinds of players, which a lot of folks who follow the NFL speculate is simply a way in which hopefully depressing the value of some of these players and they fall down the draft board a little bit more. But a former Georgia star who is now in the NFL does not want to take this when it comes to saying bad things about Deandre Baker. 24/7 Sports picked up the tweet from Weiser. It was noticed by former Georgia outside linebacker Davin Bellamy, who upon seeing all of this says of Baker, he's a great kid, an even better teammate. I'm not going to let them create this narrative. So good for Davin Bellamy for sticking up for Deandre Baker. Of course, it's also worth pointing out that for a lot of Georgia fans, the effort that the Dogs showed in the Sugar Bowl against Texas was seemingly very different than what we've typically seen from Kirby Smart coach teams. And a lot of Dog fans are curious as to the reason why about that. Was Baker's absence a distraction in the game? We may never know, but Deandre Baker deserves a chance to go to the NFL draft and be judged for his ability for playing football, and ultimately that's probably what Baker's going to truly be evaluated on, and we'll look forward to seeing where he's drafted when the draft begins on Thursday. For more on these kinds of stories, make sure you check out DogNation.com. We will see you back here again tomorrow for another episode of DN90.